Alright, I'm fed up with Christians constantly blaming us, Muslims, for being women oppressors, evil and archaic, and, of course, terrorists. This video will show any sane person who believes in the current Bible as the Word of God that it surpasses the Qur'an in all these aspects. Granted, modern-day Christians, unlike modern-day Jews, do not think they should follow everything in the Old Testament, which most, not all, of my quotes here come from. Although Jesus said, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." Nevertheless, you believe that, at least for the duration of 1500 years, which is the period between Moses and Jesus, that this law was valid and divine, especially that the grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord stands forever. Okay, so let's start digging. First accusation. Poor helpless women are oppressed under the Islamic law. They inherit half of their male share, can't marry without their father's consent, have to live with polygamist wife beaters, and must obey their husbands. Women captured in battles against the infidels were enslaved, but worst of all, Muslim women must wear these heavy veils everywhere they go. Ouch, that's a long list. Okay, you got me there. Can you recommend a better religion, where my only wife could party in a bikini on the beach without being offended by some backward bigots? Because Christian women enjoy all sorts of freedoms, I thought I'd have a look on how their holy book views them. After all, they're implementing what their Bible tells them to, right? So let's take a look. Did you hear that, ladies? If you want to be truly Christian, you must dress like nuns, or, God forbid, like Muslim women. Just because you choose not to, doesn't mean the Bible is better than the Qur'an. By the way, did you know that women in Copenhagen can now swim topless? When they can't in Ontario, for example. I'm perfectly okay with that, but it would suck if a Canadian was accused of being an oppressor by a Danish guy because they don't allow it. It's the same for Muslims, just on a larger scale. I mean, which parts are too hot to show and which aren't? We may have some different beliefs, but the Qur'an and the Bible are clear on this one. Accusation number 2. The Sharia or the Islamic law is just too cruel. You treat infidels as second-class citizens, cut the hands of thieves, lash committers of fornication, and stone the adulterers. Are you even human? Yeah, we do. I'm not denying any of this. But what does your Bible say we should do with these folks? Must be a super-duper merciful treatment, no? Totally different from our barbaric ways. Maybe send them to a psychiatrist or something? Let's see. It is morally unjustified for you, dear viewer, to ever claim once again in your life that the Islamic law is too cruel, without clarifying to the person you're speaking with that the biblical punishments are much, much harsher. So, if you choose to be a Christian or Jew, don't accuse Muslims of being too mean and look at the log in your eye. But why is cruelty associated with Islam then? The reason is that Muslims are the only ones who try to implement their holy book's laws when they get a chance. This doesn't make the Jewish or Christian creeds any better for simply straying from what they believe to be the cause of their Lord. Accusation number 3, which also happens to be the most popular, says, Muslims are terrorists because the Qur'an orders them to not only to resist occupation, but also to fight the infidels until subdued. Well, I won't go into details about who are the ones cannibalizing civilians during the Crusades, nor the ones who annihilated whole nations because their church declared them subhuman brutes for having a different religion, nor the ones persecuting religious minorities throughout the old and modern times, as opposed to who provided a safe haven for them, nor who were loving their enemies during the last century and still are, because all those are the bad apples. So let's examine the beliefs of good Bible-abiding people. You get the picture. I want you to know that these are only a handful of verses. If you need more evidence, just go to BibleGateway.com and search for terms such as kill. I'd like to stress that the purpose of this video is not to mock the Bible, or even to criticize it, since, as Muslims, we believe that large parts of the Old and New Testament have been preserved to date. But we also believe, as many Bible scholars admit, that other parts have been added, removed, and altered. No one can tell which of these laws were really told by God and which weren't. But at the end of the day, the Qur'an was revealed to Muhammad with certain teachings, and we embrace them because, just like you, believe that the law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. And now that you know that both holy books aren't that different after all, except the Qur'an being more merciful and authentic perhaps, why not Google something like Muhammad in the Bible, or science in the Qur'an, or even sit back and enjoy watching a good debate on YouTube? You'll find big surprises, no doubt. But honestly, I'm suspecting that many of you are already considering plain spirituality by now, if not atheism. If you have any feedback or questions, don't hesitate to comment or send me a message. Any blasphemy against the Qur'an or the Bible is unacceptable though. Also feel free to plagiarize this video all you want as long as you don't edit it. Finally, please do me a favor by recommending it to your most religious and tolerant friend.